All right, everybody. Another rough one. Oh my gosh, the end there. What I would, fix the playing from behind right away thing, but oh my gosh, this whole just letting goals in immediately after getting a lead back is just or getting a lead at all is just brutal. Um I'm going to try to do a poll here as we figure this out. So let's see if this works. Uh Did it say? Oh, okay, there it goes. Figured we'd do like as like a first poll. We'll try just like a player of the game. Everybody can vote on who they thought was player of the game. I know it's a loss, not necessarily the greatest time to do something like that, but uh, I thought it would be fun after we learned that we have this feature yesterday. Thanks everybody for being here. Tough one, tough one, tough one, tough one. I guess my first like knee jerk reaction takeaways is, yeah, obviously it's okay to like be happy and to have momentum. You don't have to turn around and give it to the other team right away. Uh, we can stop doing that, guys. Um, the focus on guarding the slot was, it was better again tonight. I do think that they worked on that during the break. However, definitely came at the expense of covering wingers in the offensive zone. Definitely saw that being a problem tonight. Calgary wingers had some nice looks, a lot of time and space. Johnny Gaudreau, like, if there's one guy on Calgary, you got to make sure you always have somebody on. Probably him. A lot of times in the defensive zone, the Kraken were just kind of all over the place. They were very, I don't know, a little spazzy. They were just looked very uncoordinated amongst each other. Just yeah, just guys kind of all over the place. Nobody was just picking somebody and playing their man, right? Like when things get chaotic in the defensive zone, which happens, especially with a team that is very aggressive like Calgary is. It's okay to just take a moment and just be like, okay, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but instead of just puck watching, just wait and see what the other team wants to do. Go ahead, be a little proactive, and just pick somebody and cover them. You know what I mean? Kraken could have done that a little bit tonight. That being said, some good moments. Obviously, Gio getting that first goal of the game against his former team. That was really awesome to see. You could tell how much it meant to him in the moment too. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean we're back here. Another situation. Getting I I'm right there on that on the teeter as for just saying like, yep, let's just let's pain for Shane this thing. Um, Looks like people are using the poll. I can't view the poll. I can only see what option is leading apparently. Okay, so that's interesting. Most people with Gord, it looks like. So I'll jump into comments here. Ty, so is it really Grubauer? No, it's not. I mean, goaltending hasn't been great. Drieger, obviously, tonight. Rebound controls, still an issue. And so aggressive. So aggressive. You do not need to be challenging, the opposing team coming like 2 to 3 feet out of your crease every time. Like, I understand the idea of playing the angle, taking away, an object that's closer is bigger. I understand all of that, but don't need to it doesn't need to happen every time. So no, it's not just Grubauer, it's not just Drieger. Like I said, a lot of times tonight, defense was just they looked like they had no idea what was going on. They were all panicked. They were just kind of spinning around on a couple of those, including that last one. Like you watch the replay for that last goal, and you just see a bunch of Kraken like doing this, trying to figure out what's happening, and that just can't happen. Certainly not if you want to win games. Um, Four Horsemen Wild One. It's still 3-3, right? Oh my gosh, I wish. Sergeant Pickles, I'm starting to really dislike the Flames. Yeah, I mean, that's what a Daryl Sutter team will do. That was the other thing. Kraken gotta stay. Team like that's gonna try to get under your skin, and the Kraken let it get to him. Right, that penalty Larson took, you can't take that holding penalty. You just can't. I understand that they've been doing whatever to you all night long, but that's just the way it is. You just can't take a penalty like that. Certainly not when you're already down a man. That's definitely not the ideal time to be doing that. Cameron, good game, but that was painful once again. It was. It's never easy with this team. That is for sure. Stratic, why? No, oh God, no, why? I'm with you. I thought, you get that goal at the end there to tie it up, and it was like, okay, we're seeing a little bit of a reversal from, what we're used to seeing from this team. Kind of was happening throughout the game, and then just seconds later, it's just like, oh yeah, no, this is over. It's really hard. Aaron, dude, what the hell? I know, I know. It's just, man. Alex, normally sequels take at least a couple of years. Shout out to Kraken for producing a follow up to last night so quickly. Oh my gosh, you are so right, Alex. They decided that they wanted to see that again. Only not even walking away with a point this time. So at least there was that from yesterday. Four Horsemen, Yanni line looked good. Nice to see Callie and Blackwell arrive. Yes, that line played really, really well. Boy, Callie, nice game as always. The merch link in the description below. Yeah, I liked that line a lot tonight. I thought they were really the only consistent line as far as creating pressure. McCann was in and around there a lot. Geeky had a good game. That line was okay for most of it, but the Gord line was really the one that was driving things a lot of the time when the Kraken needed it. Blackwell, just all over the place, all over the place. Blackwell. Um, it's fun to watch, and every game he's gonna blow a tire at least once. It's nice when you have reliability like that from players. Hunter, you just gotta laugh at this point. It was so predictable about what was going to happen. Arizona game 2.0. Yeah, I mean, like again, when the Kraken tied it, my first thought was like, okay, just don't, just don't. You don't need to, just don't. And then it happened, and I was just like, all right, prepare for disappointment. You'll never be disappointed, which is a lie because you will totally still be disappointed, um, as we were in this. Nathan, long day at work. I turn on the game, see 3 goals, and walk away in pain. Yeah, on the bright side, Kraken scored 4. There's at least that. Um, they had a nice night in that sense. My McCann prediction came true, and I really wish it didn't. That's from Michael. Yeah. The Four Horsemen McCann with a new contract-worthy game. Yeah, I mean almost every game from that guy. That guy is so skilled. His ability to reel in that like lead pass when he had that breakaway opportunity, because by the time he's even touching the puck, he's essentially below the face-off circles, or certainly the face-off dots nearing the end of the face-off circles, and he still has to corral that puck, and it's clear he doesn't have enough space to make a move. Like, it's just not going to happen. And so his ability to just kind of one-hand it like that, make enough of a move to get the goalie off balance, and then to one-handed just reaching all the way back, get enough air under it to get it up and over the goaltender's pad. Unfortunately, it hits the post, but that is a play that really only a handful of people can make at that speed in that situation, and McCann is apparently one of them. So yes, definitely that's going to be one of the big focal points of the offseason for this team, regardless of how the season finishes. It's and certainly the way it's looking right now, the draft's going to be a big deal, but I think locking up McCann is going to be a big deal too. And yeah, it sure seems like after every game, his price tag's just going to keep going up. Nathan, like I tweeted, Hackstall should have called timeout. Yes, he should have. He called it, Nathan. Alex, all kidding aside, watching my team lose a combined 15-7 was a big oof. Yeah, your teams. Your other team, was it? It'd have to be Tampa, right? Giving up 9 to Florida, I take it, Alex. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're a Tampa guy. Um, Yeah, that one was brutal, but at least you got like an excuse, right? Both goalies are out. I'm pretty sure. So that's at least something. Uh, Lindsay, just like I drew it up, a close, exciting game that we ultimately lose. The tankathon continues. Yes, Lindsay, you are just living the dream right now. Um, I don't know. Is it? I guess it's better that they're close because, like, for all those reasons we've been saying this week, right? You feel like the team's got a shot every game, so it's exciting and it makes you want to watch and all that. It's better than knowing like, oh, we're gonna lose 9-3 tonight. Um, but it's still, but it also makes it that much harder too because you're just like, if we just don't do this or that, we're right there. Um, it does make it makes it really hard. But yes, I mean, what were we 8? Depending on how Vancouver finishes tonight, 8 points behind Vancouver just for seventh in the division. That's that's rough. It's rough. Cameron, that last goal was a blur to me. Was it a defensive breakdown or what? I think I addressed that already. It was definitely a defensive breakdown. That and Drieger probably should have had it 5-hole too. He certainly seemed to think he did, but like I said, you just watch Kraken are just spinning around like crazy there. Um, let's see. Let's see. Superfly, hey guys, we scored 4 goals. Woohoo! Yeah, that's what I was saying. We got 4. That's pretty good for us. Um, let's see. Michael, some positives. Will Borgen's stretch pass and the Gord goal had me drooling. Those were beautiful. Yes, the stretch pass was amazing, and just everything Gord did tonight was awesome, including picking a fight with oh, it wasn't good Branson, Zdorov. That was, I mean, it wasn't a true fight or anything, but it was still fun to see them kind of, getting into it. Looked like Gord got a couple of face washes in there. Zadorov didn't have to reach up too far for those. But you love to see it, and you love to see that smiling face after any sort of altercation like that. It's just awesome. Love Yanni. Sergeant Pickles, letting in a goal right after we score things sends me into a genuine rage. All the other stuff is just disappointing. I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, it is the most frustrating thing I think that they do or really any team can do is just kind of consistently just give away momentum like as soon as they maybe get some of it because it's so important especially in hockey. In all sports it's important, but especially in hockey with the speed of it and the um, you know the ability for lack of interruptions, we'll say, or stoppages. It's just so important. And this team just, yeah, they're just like, oh, whew, we clawed back a little bit. We need a breather. So that's where the calling a timeout idea maybe. Let's see, Stratic Alex. When you keep using the same script, it's easy to churn out sequels. That it is. There are quite a few franchises that have figured that one out, and it does seem like the Kraken are joining them. Four Horsemen, serious question. Does the Flames logo look outdated and in need of an update to anyone else? That is an interesting question, Four Horsemen. Um, I guess. It's also kind of one of those like kind of classic-ish things. I mean, didn't they kind of didn't they update it or at least go back to an older version more recently, right? When they got rid of a lot of the black stuff. Like, isn't that? I think they did. I won't look it up right now and just watch everybody, watch me look it up. But um, it's possible. I mean, it would be interesting. You got to think that there's a lot of design opportunities there when you could, just work with fire. Like, fire can be pretty cool if you design it in the right way. So I could definitely see there being room for something like that. Back to Lindsay, McCann, Geeky, Eberle is my new favorite line. I want them to stay together even after Schwartz is back. Given how certainly Geeky and McCann were playing together, I think that's a possibility. Um, they sure seem kind of hell bent on keeping Eberle and Schwartz together with somebody. That just seems to be what the Kraken want to be doing. So I don't know that Eberle will hang around, but I liked the chemistry that McCann and Geeky had going, and this Eberle seemed pretty comfortable with them, like more so arguably than he'd seemed with other people so far this year. So, yeah, I'm with you. I certainly wouldn't mind seeing it uh, stick together past this. Nathan, the sad thing is, I was just about to tweet that the Flames pulled a Kraken only for the Kraken to then pull a Kraken. Oh my goodness, yes. But I mean, I'm smiling and laughing about it. I hope everybody else is as you're making these comments and jokes. It's one of those we can laugh through the pain, so to speak, and that's a good thing. Um, But yes, it's just one of those things. Maybe we're past the really painful stuff into the we just accept it. I don't know that that's better, but at least it hurts a little less. We have a little bit more fun afterwards. Four Horsemen, Donskoy keeps hustling. That goal is gonna happen. 1,000%, or or they're all gonna happen next year. And as the graphic that the Roots team showed for this date in history, with Gretzky getting to 50 goals in what is it 39 games, that'll be Donskoy next year. Just saving him up. Gonna have just one crazy year. Be awesome. Sergeant Pickles, I don't care what advanced stats say. This defense is putrid. Yeah, and it's not just the defensive pairings; it's the forwards too. Just just cover guys. I don't know what else to say about it. You just got to cover guys sometimes. You're or yeah, like the center needs to be covering the slot, or someone needs to be covering the slot kind of as a zone and take on anybody who's going to come in there. Otherwise, wingers like like Blackwell, right? I think it was Blackwell. He tries to stop the first Johnny Gaudreau goal, the first goal for the Flames, and it kind of squeaks through 5 hole on him. He goes for the shot block, but like he was just kind of floating over there where Gaudreau was the whole time. Like if he just decided to go and play Johnny Gaudreau like man to man, Gaudreau probably doesn't take that shot, and he's certainly not going to be able to take that shot with any sort of accuracy. So it's like one of those, try to you got to playing defense is all about anticipation. You can't react because if you're waiting to react outside of the goaltender, it's probably too late. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that from the forwards, especially on the Kraken. Alex, Kraken should try to find a shift after goal line, play them after every goal if possible. It's not a bad idea, Alex. Um, yeah, I mean, they got to figure out something because this is like this can't keep happening. You can't just keep giving up leads like that. You can't keep handing momentum back to the other team the moment you start building any of your own. Brian, glad to see Blackwell and Yarncroke having their mark on the game. Yeah, it was too. I'm really happy for it. Um, I know I just called out Blackwell for that one goal, but he did have a nice game. So, um, you know, one bad play can happen, even if it results in a goal. Generally, you don't want it to, but they happen. Greg, okay, let's do it. Goalie depth. Are they too far out? I know they are small, but I think they need to sit back. I mean, how much worse can it get? So, meaning too far out from the crease. Drieger is extremely aggressive. Like they both do it for different reasons, as we've kind of talked about before. Drieger is a very aggressive, reactionary goalie, so he comes out because of that aggressiveness. He really wants to challenge shooters. He wants to try to make them uncomfortable, make himself as big as possible to them. Whereas Grubauer, much more like calculated. Like he's gonna take the best angle possible. He's gonna play the odds, so to speak. And again, the odds would say to challenge the shooter and come out in that situation because you're bigger, there's less net, all that stuff. Certainly on a couple tonight, Drieger did not need to come out as far as he did, in my opinion. I know it's just part of his style and what he does, so I'm with you. Don't need to come out that far. Certainly not all the time. But that's one where, like on the first one, I think it was where he just totally got stuck way out. And Gaudreau has that opportunity again. You want to kind of count on the rest of your team being able to cover for you in those situations, right? That's where it's a group effort. It's a team thing. But yes, I agree with you. You don't need to come out that far every single time. It's okay if you don't have a good chunk of white between you and your crease, really, right? Like there are a couple times where you'll see that from these guys, and it's just like you got to be pretty sure you're gonna get that if you're gonna be in that situation, if you're gonna put yourself in that situation. Superfly replying to Michael, I like Borgen as well. Should be a good 6-7 defenseman for the first couple of years of the franchise. Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be somebody that the more playing time he gets after being scratched basically the first part of the season, the more playing time he gets, the more reps he's going to get, and all that going to be beneficial to him. Didn't get really any last year in Buffalo, so I think he has a lot of potential. His instincts are so good. He's got the size. He handles the puck decently. I think that's again something that will get better as he plays more. So I hope Borgen becomes more of a regular in this lineup because I think it'll do him and then ultimately the Kraken a lot of good. Four Horsemen, love seeing the geeky snipes. He's getting better and more shot openings. Agree. He seems like he's in a good place. It looks like the break helped him out a lot. It looks like he reset, probably watched some video, thought of things he wants to work on things in practice, all that stuff. He does seem like kind of a different player from what we saw going into that break that we didn't necessarily know was going to happen, but that did happen. I think Geeky is one of the guys that you can see the most visible kind of improvement coming out of that. So it's good. That's what you want young players to do is take advantage of those times to work on things and get better. Hunter. So is it really on the defense or the goalies at this point? Goal by goal, it's kind of different. Seems like to me, but at some point, it is a group effort. Plenty of times tonight where the defense was at fault. Other times Drieger was at fault. So it's just one of those things. Every play is different. Every goal is unique. Every situation that becomes a goal is unique, and that works on offense too, right? There are plenty of times, right, where the Kraken will get a goal, and it's really because the other team misplayed it. It's not because the Kraken necessarily did anything special. And then there are other times where the Kraken made something special happen. It's just the way it is. It's just it's a team sport, and that's the way they go. Michael, hashtag pain for Shane. Kind of, we're basically there. I will admit that we are basically there. Four Horsemen. Glad Willie Borgen is still free. Looks good out there. Yes, he does. Sergeant Pickles, love added poll feature. May I suggest level of frustration on a range of spilling of hot coffee into your lap to stepping on a Lego barefoot. Sergeant Pickles, I like that. I'm gonna remember that one, Sergeant Pickles, and yes, we can work that one in. And those are very good suggestions. Stratic, the bad penalty by Gord at the end was a real penalty, barely, and the Calgary player really sold it. He did sell it. It's one of those. I don't know that the sell job made the difference per se, but it certainly didn't help. Um, I mean, it didn't hurt if you're Calgary. It's one of those like yeah. I mean, anytime a stick gets up there and a player's gonna throw their head back, depending on where the ref is, it can be impossible for them to know whether or not it actually made contact. So they're gonna call it regardless. But it's one of those. The Kraken play a pretty clean game. We saw Calgary trying to get under their skin a lot in this one, and it worked at times. It's two different styles of playing, but we saw which one won out tonight anyway. I'll just leave it at that. Valentina, this is the first home game that I've missed. What a bummer to miss that third period in person. We did a great job on the back half, but I can conclusively say that I am not jinxing Donskoy. All right, well, that's at least a weight off your shoulders, hopefully. Um, Hope everything's good. That you missed it for good reasons, not anything bad. But yes, and yeah, I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Let's see. Lindsay, Driggs giving up those juicy rebounds once again off the pads. Got to steer him towards the walls or make sure there's a Kraken player to help clear it out in the slot. Yeah, I mean you can use your stick to try to redirect it. Even if he just kind of flares out his pad but holds it there, the rebound's not gonna be like that. Like it looked like to me, and I am no goalie expert, so take all this with a grain of salt. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong. Um, it looked like he did add a lot of extra kick to it, like he was just instinctually kicking it out, which we've seen from him before. And it's like, why don't do that when it's the slot? Like, don't just kick it out into the slot like that. Like, I get that it's going to hit your pad and there will be a rebound, but if you keep your legs still, uh, that rebound is going to be so much less dangerous than what it ended up becoming. So I'm right there with you, Lindsay. That rebound really can't happen there. Braun, hey, good to see you, Braun. Hey, Dylan, hope you're doing well. I am, thank you. Hope you are as well. So I'll post about how historically bad our save percentage is. Is it as simple as goalies being a big problem, or is it a flawed look at stats? It's everything, right? We've seen plenty of soft goals from Grubauer that he should have. We've seen plenty of defensive breakdowns, um, right? How many times, certainly earlier in the season, were we talking about the insane amount of odd man rushes and breakaways from the defense pinching up in inopportune times, right? Um, it's just one of those things. It happens a lot. It's I'm gonna default more to the team side of things I think it's been, defense has been something that they've been working on. Seeing the forwards help out a little bit more in some areas, but maybe at the cost of others. Like I was saying at the jump tonight, finally got the forwards in the slot. Left a lot of wingers open tonight for Calgary. So I think to some extent it you can never just go off of save percentage, but given the large amount of sample size we are now looking at, it's there is something there, and I don't want to pin it all on the goalies because I really don't think that it's all on the goalies, but I do think that they are contributing to it too. Like it's just everybody. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality we're living in. Aaron with the smash that like button, people. That is right. 45 people in here, only 22 likes. I know we can do better than that. Four Horsemen, smash the like button to check out the merch. That's right. Get your boy Cali shirts. Let's go. Alex Nelson, I hit the stepping on a Lego covered in hot coffee level. Yeah, that's true. Medeiros, I'm going to be thinking about that Yanni goal for a long time. The whole sequence was so hot. It really was. It was a great goal. Love to see it. Back to back nights for Yanni. Love it, love it, love it. Glad he's back. Superfly Drigger doesn't seem to be the answer to our goaltending problems as well. Maybe we start at some point. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know that any goalie's gonna fix it at this point. We've seen Decord come in and play well, and still things happen. I just think it's just one of those things. Aaron, I do like how the division games are getting spicy. I mean, yes, love to see that. Want more of it. Love the passion. Love, every whistle seemingly, right? The crowd gathers and you never know what's going to happen, right? You get that energy. That's that kind of, I don't know, live wireness. And certainly in person at a game, when it's a game like this, even if the fight never totally develops, it's just so much fun to be there. And it's so unique to hockey. And it's just so much fun. So yes, I am glad to see that. I'm glad that the Kraken, they are not a team that maybe is going to instigate things like that often. Certainly not as much as other teams or a team like Calgary. But boy, do they not back down. And they've got the people that they should have to back down, right? Like they got a lot of big dudes. They got some tough hombres, as John Forsland would say. Yeah, so I like it too. I'm looking forward to a lot of these division games coming up, and just throughout the rest of time, I guess, right? Extending past this year. Four Horsemen, can you recap the things you hate about plus minus? Yeah, RJ hates plus minus far more than I do. But I guess the bottom line is it's imperfect in the sense that let's say you're out there and let's say you're a Kraken player and you're out there when Grubauer lets in a leaky goal. You get a minus. You might not have done anything wrong. You might have played it perfectly right. The other team took a terrible angled shot compared to what they could have had if you weren't doing your job right, and the goalie just lets it in. Well, now it's a minus for you. Or there's just like a bad bounce, right? It just like deflects in off of a defenseman's skate into your own net or something. It you didn't do anything, like you didn't contribute to that being a minus per se. And same thing goes the other way. You might get a bunch of pluses just because your team gets lucky out there. It doesn't really mean that you're playing that much better than someone else who has a much lower plus minus than you. It's just you happen to be out there for a couple more lucky goals. So it's just one of those numbers that, like, in theory, it's like, oh, this should kind of tell you who's a better maybe two-way player. But it's also just one of those things that, like, there's a lot of holes in that that can easily skew the numbers, so it doesn't really give you the whole picture, which is why we've seen the growth of the advanced stats community and all the websites now that you can go and check, and all the different stats that have come from it. I mean, I remember when Corsi was really just starting to get going, and when analytics, really, teams were first starting to put together analytic departments and stuff. That was right when I was getting into scouting. And so I remember being at like career conferences and at like team meetings around drafts and stuff with all the NHL coaches and everything, and they're talking about all that stuff, and they're basically like filling them in on what it was, and you had all these people trying to get jobs, and they all had like giant, I just remember them with like these giant, 4-inch binders and stuff, and they had all this data, and everybody was coming up with different stats, and it was kind of an exciting time. I wasn't really a part of it. I'm not a math person at all. Um, so I wasn't totally into it, but you could tell that good things were going to come out of that, and it was exciting, and it was just exciting to kind of see that unfold, even if it was from a little bit of a distance. But yes, I know I made that answer very long for what could have been a shorter one, but that's what's up with plus minus, kind of. Michael, Driga rebounds were so solid, controlled in the first and second, not so much in the third. Yeah, they got worse as the game went on. It's just it's just one of those things. Again, all it takes is one sometimes. It's that's the nature of sports, really, right? Whether it's a team sport or a personal sport, it's all about consistency. How often can you do it? And that's what separates the good from the average and the great from the good. It's just consistency. It's why some golfers are better than others, right? Like go try to play golf and be inconsistent. It's you're gonna notice it on the score sheet at the end of the round. I'll tell you that. Been there plenty of times myself. Four Horsemen. Gio had some strong moments. Loved his drive to start the second period. Yeah, I thought Gio really stepped up for this game. You could tell it meant something for him. Like I said, after he scored, you could just see it. And yes, I think this was one of his better games in a long time, if not, just his whole tenure as a Kraken. I think he really wanted to make sure he got in there against his former team. Sergeant Pickles, win or lose, I will always love Gord getting under guys' skin. 1,000% agree. Four Horsemen, Gord with the fighting smiles. Absolutely love it. Kraken Hawk, the Kraken need a goal scorer like Gaudreau. Last two games were lost because we lack that pure scorer. Hopefully they can draft and develop one in the coming years. Yes, I think that is what's happening. We've seen Matty Beniers kind of work on that himself coming in. I don't know that he'll ever be, a 40 goal guy per se, but I think he's going to be a pretty good goal scorer at the next level. And then we'll see. Obviously, Kraken are trending towards a very nice draft pick this year too. But yes, I mean there are just some guys. In theory, Eberle is that guy though, right? We've seen Eberle put up great goal scoring numbers very consistently for a long time. I've seen him be like Goudreau there, where when given time and space, he picks his head up and he picks a corner and he makes it happen. And I guess thinking about it right now as I'm answering the question, I just haven't seen that a lot from Eberle this year. And part of that's the time and space thing isn't always there for him, and that you can't totally control. You can try to create it as much as possible. You can put yourself in positions where you're going to have a little bit of room. You sneak behind the defense, but then you have to rely on your team getting you the puck there. But I think ultimately for Eberle, there's a lot of times, even on some of the goals that he's scored, going back to like his hat trick game and stuff, where he wasn't necessarily looking where he was shooting. His head was down, and so maybe there's something there for at least for at least Jordan Eberle, who like I said, he is the sniper of this team, and he's not a bad one. So maybe there's something there. Let's see. Autumn, super fun game to be at. Bummed to see them blow it, but we've seen that before, so not surprising. I I hate that that comment can exist and sound so reasonable. No offense, Autumn. Not that's not directed at you at all. Just you guys know what I mean. Um, Lindsay, Gio looked like he had a flame lit under him against his former team. Uh, Loved his hustle tonight. Yes, 1,000%, and yes, the boom for the joke. I love it though, Lindsay. Daniel, this is getting frustrating. I can see improvements little by little, but with every game, it almost sounds impossible to win. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about the improvements. Scored first again, like we would have, what we wouldn't have given for that, a month ago, right? But I just think it's one of those things. We'll see, where they're at the end of the season, and make the strides and apply it all next year if you have to. It's not a bad thing. Let's see. Gabe, genuine question. Do you have faith that Hackstall is the guy that can make this a winning team? Not a great track record. Yes, I do. So one of the things that I thought of watching this game was that the Kraken in certain situations, especially defensively, quite often tonight, and really overall, they're not a super, and I don't have a better word for this, smart team. And I don't want to be saying that like, oh, they're dumb or anything, because that's not really what I mean. But there are just certain situations where their hockey sense goes out the window. And I don't know how much of that is on the coaching staff. Obviously, some of it has to be because you got to be, drilling it into guys, what the scenarios are, making them aware of it, what they should be doing, all that kind of stuff. But it got me thinking, and I'd have to really, do it more so when the game's not going on. But it's possible that that's kind of who a lot of these players were in their previous, stints with other teams before they ended up with the Kraken, that they weren't necessarily always the top, hockey smarts guy around, or situationally being able to think quickly on your feet, read and react to a situation, or as I was saying earlier with playing defense, kind of be proactive about your coverage. And so it's one of those, I don't know how much of that is just on the team, and we've seen that be the difference through a lot of games this year. Uh, I don't know how much of that's just these guys are just not those types of players versus how much of that is the coaching staff not working on it enough and making them that way. Um, so I don't know. I do know Dave Hackstall, much more of a player development coach. We'll see that more when guys like Matty Beniers, whoever they take this year, Riker Evans, as all those guys start, kind of coming up into the Kraken's team, into the NHL, all that stuff. That's where I think we'll see the best aspects of Dave Hackstall come through, is in developing those guys, putting them in good situations to succeed, motivating them, making them feel comfortable, helping them acclimate to the NHL. So we talked about that a lot on the podcast, Gabe, this last week. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, if the goal was to win year, Hackstall maybe not the best coach for that, but it seems like the Kraken were taking a long term approach, and I think that's Hackstall is a more appropriate fit for that. Autumn, great to meet RJ though. What a nice guy. Yeah, he is. He's pretty good. Um, all right, Blaze King Gaming. I don't think we can really blame goaltending every game. We just look so disorganized on both ends of the ice. I agree with that a lot. I've been saying that a lot this tonight too. Superfly, I don't think it's a good thing Gord has to go up against monsters like Zadorov, though. We've hardly got any sandpaper on this team. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that. There is room for more. You certainly got guys with the body for it. Um, yeah, yeah, it can't be Lauzon and Gord every night. That's for sure. Ty, 100% Grooved Blaze. Yeah, Four Horsemen. We survived the 5-on-3. We did. Another positive, because that if there was a time, again, this team is so weird and quirky in this way, if there was ever a time to just let the momentum overwhelm you, it was there when Larson takes that bad penalty, puts you down five, gives Calgary the 5-on-3. And Kraken, they always seem to rise to those occasions, but the moment they start building any momentum for themselves is when things just go bad. And again, I've never seen a team do it so consistently. It's kind of wild to me that that keeps happening. Medeiros, that was a bright spot. Sometimes our D is so bad, and sometimes we survive a long ass 5-on-3. Yeah, we do. Like I said, they can rise. They rise to certain occasions. It's kind of crazy, and then just sometimes with other ones, it's very not traditional. We'll put it that way. Susie jumped in there a lot and has all seasons. Sergeant Pickles wanted to Superfly. Yeah, Susie's again. He's one of those guys like Alexiak, Susie. They're always kind of around and stuff. They're never going to necessarily initiate anything on their own. But yeah, they're not complacent ever either. They're not passive. That's for sure. And again, they've got the size. I mean, they don't got to be afraid of anybody. That's for sure. Let's see. Tom, as much as I don't mind tanking at this point, all this losing builds a bad culture. Whether he's part of a long-term plan or not, Hackstall might have to go. There's something to that for sure as far as the culture goes. I think internally, I mean, it's hard to say internally. It's not like even with the access we have, it's not like you're in the locker room or anything. Um, I don't think that the culture inside the building is totally bad. I don't think that the team has soured on things. I think they're disappointed reasonably so, because things aren't totally going their way. But I also don't think, um, I I don't know. I don't know that that it's like become this like losing culture that's like unbeatable, and it's a defeatist attitude, and that's just going to keep them, down in the dumps beyond this season. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say again without being in the room, but the sense I get from listening to the players, listening to Hackstall, listening to like some of the Roots sports people, even, right? They have more access than we do, obviously. I don't think it's quite there. I think that's something that takes years, not just like one bad season, especially for an expansion team that was thrown together very quickly. As far as like the amount of time they had together before preseason and then the regular season started. But I do understand where you're coming from, Tom, and I do think that there is reasonable stuff to be worried about when it comes to that. I just don't know that it's necessarily a problem yet. Superfly Lucic mocking Geo celebration was quite stupid by that goon. No, I'm not gonna say anything. Uh, at least it was an exciting game to watch. If you're gonna tank, then losing in regulation is better. Unfortunately, that is true. That is true. Not walking away with the point is better if the goal is to tank. Uh, so it's kind of nice, right? We're in this situation where any way we slice it, it's a win. I mean, they either win and we're excited that they won, or they lost and we're one step closer to securing a top 5, top 3 pick, maybe. Brian, sorry, you can ignore my question. I guess you answered it already. No worries. Brian, Hextall is a developmental coach. I still don't understand why he was brought in. We have NHL players and not a bunch of AHLers. Totally reasonable thing to be curious about, to question. Obviously, that's the plan internally that they have taken. Couldn't tell you why. I do think, given, obviously you can't expect what Vegas had, but knowing that that was possible, and knowing that yes, you were going to have a team where you were going to have 30 guys that had real NHL experience, or were prospects that had the potential to have decent NHL careers at the very least. It is a little bit surprising that they did not play more for this year, as far as like arranging things in the offseason via the expansion draft and free agency and all that stuff. It's just it's the direction they chose, though. So gotta trust in that process and plan. Ty, Susie, and Willie were banging tonight. Excuse me. Love the hitting and overall physical play. Agreed. I mean, they matched what Calgary was trying to do, and you want to see that. You do not want a team that's gonna just fold after anything like that. Sergeant Pickles, 3 studs: Gord, Blackwell, Boy, Callie. Those are some pretty good ones. I guess I basically gave my 4 with the poll. It looks like Gord's winning that 40% right now. Let's see, is this RJ? That is RJ. So I'm going to pop over and get RJ in here real quick. We'll be right back, everybody. All right, RJ, do you have any quick thoughts to this one?
I'm sure you've probably covered a lot of the obvious things already, in detail, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's just add from the post game pressers, because I was definitely interested to see kind of the tone, the answers, things like that. Starting off with Giordano, who we got first, and I mean, he just seemed the disappointment was evident. He just seemed out of answers. I mean, he said, I've never seen it like this, where you
Mm-hmm.
just find ways to lose almost every night. And he's had a very long NHL career with a lot of things going on, and for him to say something like "I've never seen it like this," that means something. Drieger took a lot of responsibility for especially the last 2 goals. He just said, "I just need to be better. Those last 2 goals can't go in."
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of put some responsibility on himself there for what happened at the end. And Hackstall, he had kind of applauded the team's effort overall in the second half of back-to-backs, but didn't really want to get into too much of the kind of emotional or strategy reasons for why this keeps happening. Um, he's just like, well, we missed a chance to get the puck out of our zone and we didn't get a save, and there was no more to it than that. Still keeping it from a very strictly X's and O's perspective, not really wanting to tackle the whole, it's becoming a repetitive problem. At least he acknowledged, he's like, I don't believe in coincidences, as far as it's not just a
Yeah.
coincidence happening. But anyway, that's kind of what I got from the post game pressers.
Yeah, I mean, talked about it already. It's just I've never seen a team that can do things like kill off a 5-on-3 like that, but then the moment you get any momentum, it's just like they can't handle it at all. Like I've just never seen a team like this at all. It's
It's baffling, honestly. I mean,
it is.
I saw the same game you all did. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Um and it is interesting, like we were just kind of talking about Hackstall and kind of the culture and the idea of it not turning into a losing culture and all that kind of stuff. And I was saying I don't think it's there yet, and I think that's something that probably takes more than just one season anyway, especially a first year expansion and everything. But going back to that and some of the other stuff I talked about with Hackstall tonight, and you and I have said it many times over, RJ, there is a lack of motivation there, and
Absolutely.
it's undeniable. It's you can't ignore it really anymore. Like there is an issue with momentum. There is an issue. They figured out how to get the team going at the beginning. They're scoring first now. That's awesome, but like these last two nights, it's just insane.
And it's the same things over and over again. It's
Mm-hmm.
identifiable moments where it's coming and you can prepare for it. And yet we're still not, seeing the improvement there. That's what gets to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's definitely an issue of motivation. Whether we've talked about this all season. Is
Yeah.
it the coach? Is it the players? I don't care. Someone has
Yep.
to step up and take responsibility and get everyone on the same page and thinking about those sort of things.
Exactly. Blaze King Gaming, do we even think about making a trade at this point in the season? If so, who for who? We've talked about this recently. We just did on the mailbag this past podcast. If the Kraken are making any trades, it's to sell off for draft picks and prospects. That's where they're
Yep.
at. Doesn't make sense to add anybody at this point, given where they are in the standings. They'd have to go on a heck of a run at this point, I think, to make that something worth doing. Lindsay, the Kraken Eye tentacle design on Drieger's pads is sick, but I do wish that he would stop showing them off by giving up juicy rebounds.
Yeah, it does look great, but yeah, you can see it very prominently as it's there kicking the puck right out to the
Yes,
middle.
yes, as he's just flaring them out there. Michael, solid game from Cole Lynn, solid offensive push from him tonight. Yeah, Lynn's had a good game. We sang McCormick's praises yesterday. Thought things were a little rougher tonight from him, but yeah, Cole Lynn's came in and filled in very solidly.
Yep.
McCann is one of the few players they should lock up long term and build around. 1,000% agree. I
What
mean,
a tip.
yeah,
That was
and
incredible.
that's it. And then for me the breakaway opportunity, right? Given he had like
Yes,
no time to really corral it and make a move, does the best he
puck wouldn't
can.
settle.
Right, does the best he can, gets goalie off balance, gets it over one-handed, gets enough height on it that it cleared the pad and just unfortunately hits the post. But I was saying, like, there's only a handful of people in this world that can do that.
Yeah, the skill is absolutely evident with him. You need to get him locked up.
Mm-hmm. Beniers, McCann, Gord is a good start at center. Still need a true number one D and some better wingers. It's from Alex. I mean, whoa, that does sound amazing. And they'll still have Wenberg. Like, throw
Yep.
Wenberg in there.
Down the middle, that's dangerous.
That's insane. And wouldn't surprise me if Beniers starts off at wing. That's not uncommon for guys like him. Just to ease him into the NHL, especially when you already have so much depth at the natural position. But we'll see what happens. Superfly, Francis should for sure think about trades, but not for who, but rather what he can get for a couple of our guys. Yeah, exactly. Ty, Calgary had a wicked forecheck going and it ate up the Kraken like it usually does. How do we adjust? So the D, I think, generally does an okay job dealing with these larger physical aggressive teams. it's that's when to me the cracks show for the forwards back checking a lot. And it seemed like tonight, RJ, I talked about it earlier, they focused on making sure the slot was covered up, but boy did that leave some Calgary wingers just wide open to have lots of time to pick their shots.
Sure did, and I mean they made the most of it. I mean
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Gaudreau, a good example of that. And it's tough. Most guys, can't always pick their spot like that when they're given that
Yeah.
kind of time. But the Flames sure have some guys who can, and they made the Kraken pay for it tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, if there is anyone on this team that you have to make sure is never in that position, it's that guy. And they just kept giving it to him. I
Exactly.
was like, come on. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles, 3 duds. Being beaten by a scrub like Lucic, being able to predict Flames goals 1 to 2 seconds before they happen, and getting my hopes up again. Oh, it's brutal, brutal night, RJ.
That is a perfect duds list though, and yeah, of course Lucic making sure to score while I'm here.
Yeah,
You know,
just he's got to. I just, I, I will never not enjoy looking at his nose though. Like it is the perfect old school like 2D animation Disney villain nose, and it's beautiful. It is. It's just beautiful. It's kind of miraculous that it ended up like that. It's crazy. Schultz, are the Kraken waiting for their mascot unveiling before they start winning again? Maybe.
you know what? At this point, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know.
I
I know. I
assume
was
nothing tonight.
thinking it might happen. Nope, nothing. I got nothing for you. I'm sorry. Tentacle's still up there.
Yep.
I don't know.
All right. So it's clearly it's one of those. It's just
Although I found out, or I heard somewhere that those balloons, those Metropolitan's colored balloons, are I guess for the Dave Chappelle show coming up. Chappelle's gonna be here, so I don't know how those two were put together, but that's what I heard.
was gonna say, is it like it's kind of late to do a Christmas thing with him? I don't know. That's odd. Um. Okay. Ethan, we have zero talent. Ron should be fired. I don't think we have zero talent. We just talked about Jared
No, I mean
McCann
that's
being
why it's so.
amazing.
I was gonna say that's why it's so frustrating. If we had zero talent, like this wouldn't be nearly as frustrating,
Right.
doing this over and over again.
We'd be like the expansion Senators fans, where we'd be thrilled with the fact that we already have 10 wins.
Yep.
Like that's all we'd be talking about. Like, oh my gosh, we hit double digits 30 games in. Um, yeah, no, there's plenty of talent there. Ty, come on, Pickles, you know by now, bro. Let's see, Lindsay. Will Borgen deserves to stay in the lineup, in my opinion. Hashtag keep Will Borgen free. Yeah, I've liked what I've seen from Borgen, and I just think he's going to get better and better the more reps he sees.
For sure. I mean, he was fantastic in this game. That long stretch pass to Lee
Mm-hmm.
McKenna, that's one of the most beautiful plays I've seen from any Kraken player this season. Just wow. And I loved, how much he was initiating contact and, having a physical presence last game as well. It's really hard to do that on both ends of a back-to-back. Love what I've seen from Will Borgen.
Yeah, for sure. Striatic, the hockey gods don't like a true tank. The Oilers got a bunch of first overalls by tanking, but didn't get McDavid until the season they actually really tried right to the end. That is definitely true. I do believe
Mm-hmm.
in the hockey gods and their karma towards anti-tanking. So that is definitely something to keep in mind there. Kitty B Kraken, what happened to the mascot reveal before the end of the year? Still hope for KBK. Kitty B Kraken.
Yep. Still hope. Still, the longer it goes without one.
I mean, maybe it's going to be a New Year's Day thing now. I mean, that's unless they're going to do it tomorrow on an off day. Just
Yeah,
check it out.
I don't know.
Let's see, RJ. It's your quote from Geo.
Yeah.
Superfly. I don't think this team is tanking or needs trying to do so. They're just not all that good and hardly win a third of their games because of it. Yeah, I think that's kind of where they're at right now. It's just not coming together for one reason or another. It kind of changes night by night sometimes. Other nights
Yeah,
it's
it's always
like
a
this.
different reason, but
Yeah, other nights it's like this where you just know it's coming and it's inevitable, and but you still can't embrace it. um, Braun reacted to that Geo quote. It is a rough quote. Braun. Sergeant Pickles. The Calgary Blasty Horse logo has now joined the Isles Fishermen in the so bad it's good category.
absolutely. I love Blasty.
Yeah.
Like NHL 03 Iginla cover vibes.
Yep,
Love it.
exactly. Blaze King Gaming, I have a theory that we are going to reveal the mascot at the Canucks games. At the Canuck game that was postponed, totally possible, in which case we'd see it on, was it Saturday? So.
Yep. Yep.
We shall see. Superfly Vancouver and LA are going to overtime, so Kraken 9 points behind 7th place in the Pacific Division. By the way, if you don't laugh at this point, you're making life hard on yourself for no reason. Yeah, I was talking about, like, we're all here, but we're at least like laughing and making jokes about it, so it's not all bad. But that, yes, I was saying, 8 points behind Vancouver for 7th in the division. That is. I'm getting ready to embrace the tank, RJ.
I know.
It's hard not to. Alex, isn't the captain supposed to have some inkling as to how to get the ship righted? Geo sounds as lost as the rest of the team. It's true.
I mean, although yeah, it's true. Although at this point, I don't blame him for being as dumbfounded as he is. Like, he's never seen this. I've never seen this. Yeah, I don't know.
Lindsay, they said the mascot would be released in December, but this was the Kraken's last game of the year. We still don't know it. Shaking my head. Top 10 hockey betrayals, lol. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly all of our faults for not buying enough NFTs.
Clearly, yeah. They're waiting until they sell all the mascot preview NFTs. They can't release it till everyone's bought those.
Wasn't there only...
Once they release it, the NFT is worthless.
Wasn't there only 30...
I mean, not that it's worthless before,
Wasn't there only 32 of those?
Yeah. We've got more than 32 people on here. All right, everyone just go ahead and buy it.
That's his endorsement. I'm not endorsing.
Okay, yeah. No.
Braun, with the team being a bit redundant, I'm curious about outside things. How has being a reporter been? What do you think of my old team in Nashville? What's your favorite video games? Anything? Lol. Just kidding. We can certainly work some of those things into the next podcast and stuff. But
yeah, absolutely. That'll be fun to go through.
Here. Alex, insulting Blasphemy slander. NHL 03 cover with Iggy was iconic. There you go. Alex was technically there before you, RJ. Ty, Vancouver going to shootout for the record. Yeah, oh boy. Let's see. Superfly, Islanders have overtaken us. We currently have the 4th worst record, with Ottawa having 4 games in hand. So you're saying there's a chance. Aaron, I can't think of a better way to snap this streak than beating the Canucks on Saturday. My confidence on that happening is meh. That is true. But it would be fun, especially if they win tonight. So, like, where Boudreau's first loss, that would be really fun.
Sorry for the spoilers, Dylan, but Canucks lost in the shootout tonight, so...
Dang it!
I know, I was rooting for them to win. I wanted to be his first loss, but oh well.
All right. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles, Dylan and RJ, would a change at goalie coach make any difference? The fact Drieger and Grubauer both struggled with positioning and rebound control makes me wonder. It's possible, but it's also possible. It's also possible that doing something mid-season is worse. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think off season's the time to, really address that or not.
It's goaltending is just a fickle thing, no matter how you slice it. And certainly this off season for them was not normal. The regular season has certainly not been normal by any stretch. So it might be one of those things we just got to ride out this year, make the best of it, even if that means getting that just means getting a high draft pick, and then really look at it over the off season and decide if that's the right call or not. Autumn, the vibe I'm getting from these pressers is that they just have a losing culture. Doesn't bode well for Hackstall. I don't know that I'd call it a losing culture, but it's certainly not a very exuberant one. Like, there's no energy there.
There's not much energy, and there's just a lack of someone who, kind of steps up and makes sure everyone's, taking accountability. And those guys are on the rarer side. They're hard to find. Mm-hmm. But so as a Sharks, former Sharks fan, I go back to think of Joe Pavelski and the difference after he left. One of those guys that just holds everyone accountable. It makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really does. They could definitely use someone like that. I think Tanev was partly one of those guys, mm-hmm. and you're seeing maybe his loss these last couple nights. Let's see. Grizza Smash. I said to the wife, it looks like I'll be waiting for the offseason more than the playoffs. All my teams suck right now. Sad face, Grizza. Sorry. Alex, I think our main threats in the tank bowl at this point are Montreal and Arizona. League seems determined to help Montreal tank by forcing them to play with 11 guys out due to COVID. Wouldn't surprise me. Just kidding.
There's no way they're winning the lottery though.
No, no, never. Autumn, doesn't even sound like the players have faith in Hack to get it sorted out. I don't know. I think it's just one of those things. Like at some point, I mean, keep in mind we were in this exact same spot beforehand, and then they went and they beat the Capitals, Carolina, lost to Tampa, but beat Florida. You know what I mean? Like I remember the same conversation, reading these same comments
Hmm.
almost back then, and we were hearing the same thing out of the locker room from all the interviews and stuff. So it's just one of those things. I like I said, I don't know how much we can really judge it given the year they've had so far. Again, they're coming off of however many days of not playing and then having these games back to back. Got all
It's
bunch of
tough to
guys
get thrown right
on and
back
off.
into.
Yeah, a bunch of guys on and off COVID during that time too, getting it, potentially experiencing some symptoms and stuff. Right, like it's it's hard right now. I think I'm willing to cut everybody some slack because of that personally. Grizz Smash. Oh, I'm a Habs fan. There's no way they're going to be that bad. They only have one player left that they can call up. It's on contract. That is a brutal situation they were working with there. Superfly. Sharks win in overtime against Philly, so it seems it's allowed. So it seems it is allowed to win in extra time. Yes, that is true. Quick shuts them down. No new record for Vancouver. It's from Ty. For goaltending, I think they just have to write the season off and see if either Drieger or Grubauer rebounds next season. A defensive structure revamp could help too. Yeah, just echoing what we were saying. Brian with the Go Kings Go. Let's see. Try to catch up. There's so many comments tonight. Aaron, I
Yep.
think plus minus gets a bad rap. You can't look at it on an individual game basis, but it's something that kind of evens out over the course of the season. Yeah, we talked about the holes in plus minus earlier.
Okay.
RJ. Not gonna lie, I'm low key rooting for Vancouver now after the Boudreaux turnaround Cinderella story. Plus, I need the Kraken to keep losing for those draft lottery odds. Pain for Shane. It's from Lindsay. You can't be low key rooting for the Canucks, Lindsay. That's where I draw the
Oh.
line. That's where I draw the
Yeah.
line. I'll
Can't be
allow the
having that.
tanking
But
talk, but I'm not gonna allow rooting for Bruce Boudreaux in this chat. I'm sorry.
be
Uh,
happy for him.
yeah. And Valentina, same. Love the direction the Canucks are taking. Oh my gosh, you guys. Get out of here. Superfly. I don't care much for Vancouver. Thank you. Given what we've seen from the Kraken, they'll always find a way to lose. Also, not that worried about, right? There are lots of good prospects available. Yeah, super deep draft class this year.
Yep.
Uh, let's see. That's basically what Lindsay said. Next, Ty missing Donato. Hope he comes back. He was how he was playing before. Yes, I think Donato's another one that they're missing. Just that ability to kind of create offense when they need it is certainly out
Yep.
of the lineup right now with both him and Turbo missing. Rexology, I feel like the team is still struggling to find its identity. They thought they were going to be a defensive group trying to win one goal games, and when that didn't happen, they seemed to be flailing. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. They've seemed to have found their identity, and that
I
is
was gonna
a,
say, yeah.
a team that almost makes something magical happen just to hand it away 10 seconds later. Not a good identity, I'll give you that. On a positive note, this was a much more fun and competitive game than most recent ones. They had multiple leads in the game and were in it playing to win to the very end. Like I said, that's all we can hope for. And the fact that we
Yeah.
have that to root for means something. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Unless we add another pick in the teens, I hope not. Geeky's a guy that should go in the 10 to 15 range, and we're hopefully picking higher than that because Lindsay was talking about
Yeah.
drafting Connor. Let's see. Brian, with the trade deadline coming up, will we end up trading for more picks? It's good we have depth, but I don't even know who our core is at this point. Yeah, the core is a little in flux. That's something we could talk about on a podcast, RJ. Is kind of what the
Yeah.
core to build around long term is.
I like
I
that
think that's a
subject.
good
Yeah.
one. I can say with some certainty, Jared McCann is going to be one of those guys.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. We were gonna agree on that.
Yes. Let's see. Some more talk about Connor Geeky. Tomorrow's practice has been canceled. That's from Lindsay.
Oh,
Did
all
you
right.
get that? All right.
I did not get that yet. Good. Good
We'll,
stuff. I'm sure
we'll
it's
see.
on my phone, just waiting
I
to
mean,
see.
it's not
But
unsurprising with 3 games in 4 days.
yeah, I was not counting on that practice happening, and given the snow and how my car has been, I was like, thinking maybe like, yeah, I wasn't planning on heading out there.
Yeah. Stratic, I think you definitely trade all the UFAs you can. Get anything for Geo, Cali, Johansson, all need to go at the deadline. Throw anything not bolted down overboard for picks. Yeah, we talked about that. Agree with Geo and Cali. I like Johansson. I'd like
Yeah,
to see him stay. Um,
yeah. I wonder what we can get for that tentacle. I mean, we're not using it.
something. Bunch of red, green, and white balloons. Um, absolutely. They got a short shelf life too. I'm kind of surprised how long they've been leaving those up there.
I know.
Superfly, absolutely agree. Identify the core guys for foreseeable future and look what the offers are for the other guys. Lucic was a terror in the WHL when I was working for the Silver Tips. Never tire of hating that guy. That's from Aaron. Fun. We're gonna have to explore that at some other point in time, Aaron. Kraken mascot is sudden blown leads.
There we go.
They did. They debuted him yesterday.
They revealed it before the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. Superfly, given the current situation, is RJ required to bring his skates to the rink in case of more guys being out?
Oh man, I wish. I wish. Put me in.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. Always ready. Always ready to go play a game of hockey.
They're always in the trunk of your car.
I had my stick out there out front before the game. I was playing a
saw
little
it.
ball hockey with the girlfriend. That was really fun.
Yeah, it looked like it. Alex, I still have no idea why Pitt just gave McCann to Toronto for expansion draft purposes. That was weird. Yeah, I still don't understand that one either. Lindsay, they're waiting for Donskoy to get a goal before they reveal the mascot.
Oh boy.
Let's see. Ty, do you think they're counting the mascot reveal to those 4,000 NFTs? I think there was 5 of them available. I did the chest and 1 ticket. Sorry, but there will be another loss. Haha, I'm 0 for 6 so far. It's from Ty. Brutal. You're gonna get one eventually, Ty. Don't worry. Low-key sad Lausanne has been doing well because I miss Fleury. It's from Medeiros. I mean, everything has consequences.
I know, right? When you've got this many defensemen like that, until you move one,
yeah,
that's gonna be the problem.
Yeah. Lindsay got to go. No worries. Saturday, finally be back in the Pacific time zone. Awesome. See you. Thanks for stopping by, Lindsay. You're probably gone by now. Valentina, to quote a cool hockey podcaster I know, don't pay for goalies, pray for goalies. Love it.
Love that one.
Yep. Dimitri with the Bruce, there it is. I love that one too. Sergeant Pickles gotta go, everyone. Have a good night. It's never a bad time to hang out here and vet for a bit. That is true. Thanks for stopping by as always. Kitty B Kraken, so much for watching the recorded Sharks game. I guess we gotta start adding spoiler warnings to all this.
Oh, sorry.
Cameron, what happens if we get the first pick, then don't draft Shane? I don't think we have to worry about that, Cameron.
No, not gonna happen.
And that's it. We reached the end. Nice long one tonight. Lots of people stopped by. That's good to see, especially after another disappointing game. Not something we want to see happen often. But I think we all made the most of it. I had fun once again. It's just good to be back doing this on RJ.
Absolutely. Certainly, the 11 games off without Kraken hockey. I'm just so happy to be, at a game again, watching a game again. And a fun, exciting one too. High scoring. I had fun tonight.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, Braun, real quick before we go, can you at least pick a quick favorite video game right now? It's a brutal one. I don't know. Big Mass Effect series fan. Bought those several times for just about every console. Just to end on a silly note, I will say I did the only sport I played in college. I was on my school's college Overwatch esports team. So, don't really play Overwatch right now. Not a big fan of Blizzard at the moment, but you could throw that one in there too, just because a lot of hours and time sunken into that. You got one, RJ?
Yes, I've played a little bit of RimWorld recently. I enjoy RimWorld.
All right.
But the only non-sports or grand strategy game that I play.
Yeah.
So yeah, RimWorld's a good one.
All right. We will see you all on Saturday, everybody, and we'll see what happens against Bruce.
Yep, it'll be a fun one.
Yep. All right. See ya.